Hello and welcome to the Genuine Learning blog. My name is Melisa Galasso, and this week we're going to talk about a FASB proposal. It's very targeted, 3 minor changes that they're going to include specifically around hedging. So this was proposed on June 17th of this year, and it was actually part of the invitation to comment. So they did an agenda consultation in 2025, and they asked people, what would you like to see fixed? And this came up repetitively, and they were pretty easy, very small fixes that people thought would help significantly improve hedging. So that's what they decided to address. Now, remember, hedging is not required. It's something you opt into. And if you choose to opt into, then you have to comply with Topic 815. So this only applies when entities choose to apply hedging to various types of relationships and transactions. So the first area that they're addressing is held to maturity debt securities. Under current GAAP, entities cannot designate the interest rate risk of held to maturity debt securities as the hedged risk. So this would change that and would permit an entity to hedge interest rate risk for held to maturity debt securities in fair value hedges and cash flow hedges, allowing them to more closely align their hedge accounting with the economics of those related transactions, their risk management concept. So remember, in held to maturity, you have to hold the item to maturity. You aren't, using a typical, you're not able to typically do fair value accounting. It's usually an amortized cost basis. And so here, when you're electing the fair value hedge or a cash flow hedge, you would be able to hedge that actual interest rate risk or whatever changes are happening with respect to what's happening in the actual environment. SOFR, which was popular during our reference rate reform changes, when they put the SOFR definition in, they specifically said a U.S. benchmark. So this is going to amend the definition of the SOFR overnight index swap rate that's in current GAAP, so no longer referencing a U.S.-based benchmark only. This would allow any tenor of SOFR. So again, removing that sort of U.S.-specific language there. So again, very, very targeted. And then the last one is a float-to-float cross-currency swaps. These terms get more and more complicated to pronounce. And this would just expand the population of eligible net investment hedge instruments by permitting the use of certain float-to-float cross-currency swaps with different reset dates. So what this is going to do is eliminate the requirement that both legs have the same intervals for repricing as well as repricing dates. This is going to say as long as you are repricing the intervals and dates at least every 6 months or more frequently, you would be okay. The theory behind this is that would be sufficient to justify the assumption that the variable payment or receipt is at a market rate. So again, currently you would have to have the exact same reset dates. This is going to allow a little bit more flexibility. So again, 3 very targeted changes, no major changes here being proposed, but this would make people happy. And so this is something where it's not a lot of risk. It's not going to have a huge, the impact would be positive and easy to fix, right? Those are the things that we like to address. The FASB thinks those are easy, like, sort of the lowest hanging fruit. Let's just get those done. So this does not have a proposed effective date. They're going to wait to hear stakeholder feedback. Comments are due August 17th. So if you are so moved by this proposal and you want to encourage them or discourage them, they would love to get your feedback. All right, so that's a wrap on this week's blog. Short, sweet, and to the point. 3 targeted changes to hedging. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you on a future blog. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.